Hi, it's Sarah here and welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be talking about apartment essentials. I've lived in an apartment for 5 years now, 1 year during college and then 4 years out of college. So I felt like I have a good understanding of the things that are needed in an apartment, the things that I have enjoyed having, the things that I felt are necessary for myself. So I just wanted to share that knowledge with all of you. I know that we all have different wants and needs, so I think this is very just dependent on the person. So just be sure to take everything with a grain of salt. I'm not trying to tell you that you need to buy certain things or not buy certain things. I think that it's important for everybody to do what is best for them, but I do think that these are some of the most important things that have been helpful for me. And then pretty much all of the items that I'm talking about can be bought at more inexpensive places. You could go to Walmart, you can go to Goodwill, thrift stores, Amazon, and of course you can buy higher end stuff as well. You can go to places like Target, which can also sometimes be cheaper but sometimes more expensive. Of course you can go to all the other bigger furniture stores and kitchen stores, all that kind of stuff. So we're going to start with the bedroom. I would say that the number one thing that anybody would need in an apartment is something to sleep on, whether it's just a mattress, whether you have a bed frame, whether you have a futon, a couch, an air mattress, whatever. I think it's obviously important to get a good night's sleep. It's one of the most important things for our health. We spend 1/3 of our lives sleeping, and so I do think it's important to invest in a nice mattress. But I also understand that when you get out of college or when you're just living on your own for the first time out of high school or even out of your parents' house, whatever, I think that it's totally understandable to not be able to afford much because I've been in that place. And so we started out with an IKEA mattress. It was not comfortable at all, but we did use it for about a year until we decided to get a Purple mattress. And this is not sponsored by them or anything, but I do love our Purple mattress. It was expensive as heck, but it was so worth it. We did payments on it for a year, paid it off. We didn't have any interest, and it was just one of the best purchases that we've ever made. It's a dresser or something to keep your clothes in. I think that having an organized space really helps you mentally. It helps with space saving. It helps with time saving when you know where things are. A laundry hamper. Maybe you have one at home that you can just take with you, or that you've had in college or wherever that you can take with you. A hamper is super important. I really like having multiple hampers so that I can just organize my clothes as I put them in the hamper, and then it's easier to wash them because we don't have to sort them. But that's not really the more cost-efficient option, so I would say for that, just getting a basic hamper. Another one that a lot of people don't always think of when they first move in is a lamp or lamps. A lot of apartments don't have overhead lighting, or the overhead lighting is terrible. So you'll likely want some better mood lighting, just some lighting that feels a little more homey and not like you're in a hospital. The next thing for the bedroom I would say is optional, but a fan. Some apartments don't really spread the air very well. Sometimes it doesn't circulate all that well, so you might be really super hot or super cold either way. But we have 2 fans, and we also partially like them for the sound. But it really does help circulate the air. It helps it feel cooler, especially because we have 2 people in a bedroom. Okay, let's move on to the bathroom. So the first thing I have is a towel. Just any towel and washcloth. It's always nice to have more than one, so if something happens to yours, it gets dirty, it gets messy, you drop it in the toilet, whatever, then you have a second one to fall back on without having to wait to wash it and everything. Or if you have guests come, it's always nice to have towels for them as well. A toilet plunger and brush combo, because one, a toilet plunger is very important if you clog up the toilet, and then a brush as well, because you can use that when you go to clean the toilet, which I would also recommend doing. A trash can. Even if you think you won't use it for much, you may be surprised. If you use Q-tips, you'll want a trash can. If you use Kleenex, if you use baby wipes for anything, if you use Clorox wipes for anything, if you use paper towels for anything, like, it's just really nice to have a trash can. And for all the ladies out there who have periods, I would also say one that has a lid is extremely nice because it helps it to not smell. Then I would say an optional one as well would be a bath mat. I think that it is really, really nice to have. Is it necessary? I don't think it's necessary. If you dry off more in the shower, or if you I have a bath mat, but I still step on my towel to dry off my feet. So I think that if you do that, a bath mat's not super necessary, but it is really nice to have. Okay, so then we're gonna move on to the living room. So the first thing I would say for the living room is something to sit on. That can be a desk chair, that can be a couch, it can be a recliner, a lawn chair, whatever. Something to sit on just to make the space feel a little bit more like a living space. Especially if you have a TV, you're likely gonna wanna sit on something other than the floor to watch your TV. So yes, something to sit on. Then moving forward to the TV, I don't think a TV is a necessity by any means either. If you have a TV, that's great. And if you do, I would definitely recommend getting something to put your TV on, like some sort of TV stand. You can use old dressers, old nightstands, you can use cardboard boxes. That might not be as safe, but you could. Or you can always buy a mount, which can sometimes be a little more pricey. I think we bought ours for around $50 on Amazon, and it's been working great. So then, kind of like I said with the bedroom, I would say lamps again are super important because again, you may not have overhead lighting or the lighting is terrible. And then I would also say if you have windows in your living room and if you don't have blinds, which I don't think I've ever seen an apartment complex that doesn't have blinds, but if you don't or the blinds are bad, getting some sort of curtains just to protect your space is really important as well. Because being an apartment, it's obviously a much more public place. People are going to look inside if they can get the chance. Most people aren't trying to be creepy and be like, I want to look at what they're doing, but some people are. And then other people are just curious and they're just walking by and they want to look and see how cute you've decorated it or whatever. So yeah, I would say that is a necessity if you don't have any sort of window coverings. Okay, and then we're gonna move on to the kitchen. So I would say in your kitchen space, it's not exactly necessary to have something to sit on, whether it's like a table or bar stools, whatever. I think it kind of depends on what your living room space is like. And if you're somebody who doesn't like to eat in your living room, then you definitely need to get something in your kitchen to sit down and eat. But if you prefer eating in your living room, I don't think it's really necessary to get something to sit on in the kitchen. The next thing I would say is pots and pans. And I would say you don't need a ton of different sizes. Ideally, like a more medium size pan, small to medium, and then a large pan. And then same for pots. I would say a smaller pot and then a bigger pot to make bigger things like soup and stuff like that. Then a baking sheet I would say is also pretty necessary. If you want to cook anything in the oven, you're going to need a baking sheet for the most part. Then I would say when it comes to knives, really just a chef knife will take you a long way. You don't really need the whole block of a bunch of different knives. A chef's knife will actually do so much for you if you take care of it well. But if you don't buy a decent brand, then you may want to have other ones, or at least get one that has a sharpener with it. The sharper the knife, the less likely that you're going to get cut because it's cutting correctly. If you're trying to cut through a sweet potato and it's dull, it will likely slip and it can cut into you. If you have a sharp knife and you cut, it's going to cut straight down. So the sharper the knife, the better and safer it actually is for you when you're cooking and cutting things up. So I'd say a chef's knife would really just take you a long way. You could also add a paring knife or something like that as well if you want, but it's not necessary. Then I would say a strainer, or if you get a pot that has a lid that also strains, that would be great too. Measuring cups are important. Measuring cups that are for wet ingredients and for dry ingredients. Then I would say cooking utensils. You definitely need to have cooking utensils. I would recommend like a spoon and a spatula. Both, maybe a slotted one and a non-slotted one. You could have either or. I don't think it's super necessary to have one or the other. And then I would also say tongs and a whisk. I also really like having a wooden spoon, but I don't know that a wooden spoon is super necessary, but I really, really like having that. Then just your basic plates, cups, silverware, bowls, just the different things that you're going to eat out of. The next thing is Tupperware containers, just any sort of containers that you can put leftovers into or to take things for lunch, anything like that. Then I would say a trash can is obviously a necessity. And then I would say if you have recycling, you could get a recycling can as well. I don't know that it's necessary. You could totally just like hang your bag somewhere and put the recycling in that way. So I think that's kind of personal preference there. And then I would say for all the other types of things like a mixer, a blender, a toaster, a coffee maker, all those goods are not necessities, but it depends if you use them every day. If you drink coffee every single day, then you should definitely get a coffee maker or a Keurig or whatever, because you'll save so much money over time if you make your own coffee versus going out every day. And then the last section that I have is just like cleaning / random stuff. If you've watched my channel before, you know that I love cleaning, I love maintaining my home, I love caring for my home. It's my special space and I want to take good care of it. So I think that cleaning is extremely important. So I have some different things I can share on that. So definitely just some sort of laundry detergent. You don't need fabric softener, you don't need dryer sheets, you don't need any sort of disinfectants. A laundry detergent will do just fine. It will do the job. The other stuff is great and fun, but it's not necessary. For the kitchen, you would need some dish soap and a sponge or a brush. Any sort of dish soap usually works just fine. And then if you have a dishwasher, then definitely something to use in that, whether it's like the jugs where you pour the liquid in or you get pods. You just kind of need to figure out what's more cost efficient for you. Then I would say a broom / dustpan and a mop or a vacuum, kind of depending on if you have carpets, if you have wood, how much of it you have. Then I would say Windex is a great way to clean all your glass, whether you're cleaning your windows, your mirrors, all that kind of good stuff. Then an all-purpose cleaner is a great thing to have for a lot of different reasons. You can use all-purpose cleaners on your countertops. You can use it in your sinks, in your toilet, in the bathtub, like all sorts of places. So an all-purpose cleaner really is all purposes. Then I would say some sort of cleaning brush or sponges. If you buy a big pack of sponges, you can use them for multiple cleaning things, including your dishes, including your bathtub, including your sinks, all kinds of good stuff. You could also get just some microfiber cloths, and then you can use those for cleaning as well. Then some sort of first aid kit materials, Band-Aids, some Neosporin, Tylenol, basic things like that. And then the final thing I have listed is tools. So some sort of like a hammer, a level, screwdrivers, different things like that. Just some basic tools that you can use for multiple different things, whether it's putting together furniture, trying to screw your TV into its new mount, trying to hang stuff on your walls, different kind of stuff like that. You can often use command hooks or thumbtacks for things on the walls, but depending what you're trying to hang, you might need some good nails and a hammer. I don't think you need to have like a drill or more expensive tools like that. I think that they're super convenient, but I don't think it's a necessity. All right, well, that is everything that I've got for you guys. I hope that this has been super helpful for you. If you have any other tips or ideas, please leave them in the comments below. And thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you have enjoyed and that you're doing well. Bye.